Yo, what up? It's Aaron Moses, and this video is 11 things that I would tell my 18-year-old self, man. 11 pieces of advice that I would give my 18-year-old self. Yeah, the first thing I would tell myself as an 18-year-old, we're just gonna say 18, as an 18-year-old is, bruh, socialize with females. Why? Because a lot of people, a lot of you guys know my story, know my history, know my resume. When I was doing what I was doing, most of my clients were males. Most of them were men, right? Because at that time, females really typically didn't pay for their own substances. They would use whatever it is they had to get whatever it is they wanted. So I distanced myself. I distanced myself from women a lot on purpose. And it was because the griminess of the business and just knowing that the likelihood of me accumulating wealth off of this situation is very low. And because I always thought that having a girlfriend or having somebody I was even intimate with would just make me soft, would make me weaker, would make me slip, would make me dip, would make me trip, and would make me, it would just distract me. And I always thought that females would get me robbed. So I just stayed to myself and I made sure 110% not to socialize with women, bro. Unless they were with somebody else. Alright. So, number 2, man. Humble yourself. Now, I'm from a little city in Georgia called Atlanta. And a lot of people in Atlanta are very cocky, very arrogant, very bougie. And have a different mentality than a lot of places overall. Okay, and this cockiness and this arrogance not only came from me being a teenager and me thinking I knew it all, but just the environment and the mentality of the A, man. So humbling myself took a lot. It took me going to jail. It took me putting myself in very violent situations. And it took, a couple punches to the face, couple L's, a lot of things. So I would tell myself as an 18-year-old, humble yourself. Number 3, I would tell myself to read. I never did any reading. I never picked up a book. I wrote a lot and I hung out a lot and I listened to a lot of music, freestyle, but I never read. I don't think I read all the way from like 16 to like the second time I went to jail at 19. And then I didn't read from like 19 to like 21. Like I really just started reading a lot like last year or like 2 years ago, bro. I never read ever. Which explains why my vocabulary is so horrible and I don't know what a lot of words mean that the average adult does. It's not funny and I'm not proud of it, but it's just the way that I process things and the way that I word my sentences are very much so symptoms of me neglecting reading. Okay, so number 4, bro, eat better. I knew nothing of the world of nutrition until I was like 23. I was surviving off of McDonald's and ramen noodles and Gatorade and beer and freaking microwave Tyson chicken and chicken nuggets and freaking frozen. Bro, I was just eating horribly. I was just abusing my body and I didn't think anything of it. Like I probably ate some fruits and vegetables like once a month or something like that. I drank a lot of water, but that's because I was in the car a lot and I didn't like to use my AC. I drank a lot of water because I drank a lot of alcohol. And I smoked a lot of weed and stuff and cigarettes. But other than that, man, yeah, I was just a very horrible eater. So, this is deep, man. Number 5, take life seriously. Like, the thing about it is, I tried to pretend to take life seriously, but only because I saw other people around me doing little stuff, but then I only associated with a certain type of person, which I'm gonna get into a little bit later. But I really thought that everything was a game, nothing bad could happen to me. And I really didn't, like, I didn't care. I didn't care. I didn't care if I lived. I didn't care if I died. I just knew it's something for me here, so there's really no reason to take the step to remove my body from my soul permanently. I just wanted to, really the only reason that I was alive was because I just wanted to see if I was gonna ever do anything with my life, which we see what happened and what didn't. But nah, man, I would tell myself, take life more seriously, man. Like, I didn't even try. I tried to do certain things just to blend in because I was just so committed to who I thought I was. Let's just say that. All right, number 6, stop being so close-minded. Now, I was always interested in certain cultures just because I was fed all these, they weren't lies, but they weren't totally the truth. I was just fed so much of what I am instead of just accepting, hey, you're black. Like, yeah, you got an Arab nose or whatever, and you look kind of strange and different than other black people. But I was only interested in, like, Mexican culture because they said my people came from Spain, which they did. Indian culture because my dad said our people came from India at some point, which they did. But being close-minded as far as I did not hang out with anybody that was not a criminal because I just didn't trust that, which I actually should have. I didn't even talk to anybody that didn't smoke weed. I didn't hang out with anybody that was not in a gang or that was not trying to help me get money or anybody that I couldn't just further this career of negativity with. I didn't go on vacations, I didn't travel, I didn't plan on doing any of that. I probably didn't want to read on purpose, just being ignorant. Yeah, I was just pretty close-minded. I didn't want to hang out with anybody that was not exactly like me, which nobody was exactly like me as far as, you know, the positivity that I potentially could have added to life. But no, I was pretty close-minded. So 7, man, stop listening to so much rap. Of course, I listened to Jimi Hendrix, the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, AC/DC. For some reason, is like the bee's knees to me, man. Like, I love dad rap. I don't know why. I mean, not dad rap, dad rock. But just me rapping, me writing, me expressing myself so much artistically, especially now, I see that I listen to way too much rap music, bro. Number 8, man, be yourself. Be yourself. Now, because I hated myself so much, I felt like I needed to do anything that I could to escape my own reality and escape myself and to transform myself into whatever I wanted to be. On one hand, we had people saying, Aaron, you can be whatever you want. Anything you put your mind to, you can believe it, you can receive it, you can achieve it. On the other hand, people were telling me, look, man, you can't do this because in order to live this lifestyle, you have to have gone through, things that you haven't gone through. You had to have seen things at a certain age and experienced certain things. And I'm like, well, I mean, because I didn't grow up like that, I do have an advantage. And because I believe in myself and I'm so delusional and I hate myself, I'm gonna recreate myself to be this negative person that does bad things to his community. And I just want to be that person. If I can be anything in the world, I want to be this thing, this entity, this force that I'm not. And I did a lot of things. I went a lot of places that I shouldn't have been. I engaged in a lot of dangerous activities, and I went places I shouldn't have been, mentally, physically, and emotionally. So be yourself. I mean, even little parts of me, just because I hated myself so extremely to the point where I would rather die putting myself in this situation just for people to create their own narrative, just to say that I did something or I attempted to do something that they didn't have the heart to do. You feel me? So that's pretty disturbing now that I think about it. I would rather die than be myself, but I didn't want to harm myself, like whatever. But I would tell myself to be myself. Because even like a couple years ago when I was meditating, I received a message to celebrate myself. And I was thinking, it was an extreme like implosion, bro, inside my body, bro. I was thinking, why would I celebrate myself if I don't want to be this? If I'm putting all my energy and my effort into not being this, why would I want to celebrate me? I know me. I know me better than I know anything. And that's why I want to change it so much. That's what I was thinking. So yeah, I would tell myself to be myself because I would have gotten a lot further in life and not regret so much, actually, if I were to just be myself. We have number 9, apply your knowledge. Now, we're gonna go back to that same, because I'm just gonna tell you like that from 15 to 21 was just the dark cloud of criminality and negativity and destruction and terror and mayhem. I know I don't present myself as that person, but I'm gonna tell you a little secret. I was on a lot of drugs. And when you do stuff, when you put substances in your body that don't belong there, it changes your personality, and you think that you can do a lot of things that you really can't do. And you talk to people differently, you dress differently, you just do a lot of things. You do a lot of things that you could not picture yourself doing right now. So I would say, if you did want to do that, if you truly wanted to be that, you could have been it. But if you were sober and able to think with all 79,000 parts of your brain, then you would have actually gotten a lot further, because the little knowledge that I did not apply was powerful. It was very powerful. What I was doing was, I'm gonna give you the perfect analogy. What I was doing was, I was playing $1 million game of pool, and I had the power behind the stick, and I had all the balls in a row. And if I would have just hit this one ball, all the balls would have went in the holes and I would have won. But because I was wearing a blindfold and both of my shoes were on the wrong foot, I continued to play this game over and over and over. And I put more and more at risk. That's what happened. Wow, what a poet. And then number 10 is take care of your mental health, bro. I really didn't consider that I was crazy as a motherfucker, but I didn't really understand what mental health was, to be honest. I didn't understand. I thought that shit, you were born crazy or you weren't. I didn't understand anything about psychology. I thought that, hey, look, I don't hear voices. I don't have mood swings. I'm not out here, drawing on myself with razors. I'm not suicidal. I'm not smoking crack. I'm not addicted to drugs. I just told myself, like, I'm not this, I'm not that. I never knew anything about sociopaths and psychopaths and borderline personality disorder and narcissists. I didn't know anything about that. I didn't know. I mean, I knew, hey, if you smoke enough crack, you're gonna be crazy, you're gonna hear voices. If you do enough this, then this is gonna happen. Weed, not that. Alcohol, I don't drink enough to be crazy. I didn't even understand, like, when I would be drinking and I would be crying, or I'd be super aggressive, or I would be depressed. after like 3 days of hard drinking and being up, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was doing to my brain, man. All this, everything I was doing, I didn't know that. That adds up. I didn't know like all the trauma and all the stuff that I was not supposed to see. I didn't know that, I didn't know about PTSD. Like, you have to understand, guys, this is before the internet was like life, okay? I'm 29. I'm not 19. I was born in 1991, not 2001. So, me sitting around and researching and Googling and reading, that just was not a part of my day. I wasn't interested. I didn't care. And to be honest, if you want me to keep it 1,000 with you, I honestly, a part of me thinks that I was trying to make myself crazier so I could be a better criminal, so I could take things a little bit further than I would normally take them, or than the average person would take them. Although I was very careful and I was very calculated. A lot of the things that I did, they took big balls, and I was usually not sober. So I, in my mind, was thinking like, hey, maybe if I take enough of these pills, or maybe if I do enough of these drugs, maybe if I drink enough of this drink, then when I'm sober, then I'm gonna be crazy. It's gonna give me brain damage to the point where I don't even have to think about it. It's gonna make me more diabolical and evil, and then I'm gonna be cold and calculated, and none of this is gonna affect me. And I feel like at some point I actually considered that, like, hey, if I, just like that one dude said in the song, these 40s are driving me crazy. They got me doing things I wouldn't normally do, even though I'm sober. I forgot what song that was, but it was probably that. I was a pretty impressionable, retarded little kid. But and then lastly, man, embrace yourself. Cause like I said, I knew myself. I just really hated myself. Facts. Everything that I did not like about myself, my shadow self, I guess. I just did everything that I could to water it down. I did every possible thing that I could do to run for myself. And yeah, you see what happens. So that is what I would tell myself as an 18-year-old, man. If I could go back in time, I totally would not do that, because I don't give a fuck. But if I could go back in time, or if I could have a conversation with somebody who is going down the same path as me, and they're 18 and you identify with any of these things, that's the advice I have for you, chick. 18-year-old Aaron, I know you're dead, but come on, bro. If you can hear me out there in the alternate universe, and you want to grow up and you don't want to go to jail and be all lonely and think about stuff you're not supposed to think about, then listen to these words, bro, because I know you're meditating, trying to, play with stuff you're not supposed to be playing with. Not because it's bad or good, but because you don't understand what you're doing. Listen to these words, 18-year-old Aaron. Alright, it's Aaron Moses. I'm the bang, you the bang, we the bang. That was depressing as fuck. We the bang together, right? Life is in the breath, breathe it up, peace.